try to get this mini micro telescope. Let's see if it works on its tripod. So I was hoping the base part of this tripod would, cover and use up more of the platform that the and it's basically probably not even like a real good match or anything. So it would actually just seeing how this is, it should be more round. It should be more round so that the the this is more flush and more more support, I think. So just kind of going through some of my exploring gear and stuff, just finding out the little bit of flaws, putting it away, enjoying that part of it. Um, and just kind of planning on something coming up, if anywhere. Welcome to Epsize Exploring Adventures. These are the flashlights that I have for my GoPro helmet and bicycle. I'm also having a couple of spare batteries for the black GoPro mainly. So I've got this stuff right here. And a tripod just to kind of keep things sorted out for some of the just items I think that I'm testing and trying to sort out. So far with this Windows 10, the black GoPro and the Fire 7 does read. I have a small pocket camera, with memory cards and stuff. So I do have 32 gigabytes. Most of these, uh, cameras are 32 gigabytes. I could technically get more out of like a smartphone, so I am trying to get like a newer smartphone with the 64 gigabytes, or so far it's going to cost $75 for 64 and 125 if they even have smartphones in stock and things like that. For a spare camera, I paid pretty much $20 and $20 and $20, and there's this laptop and things. It does add up, um, just for the basic comparisons, I think. And tablets could range from $50 to $80 and things like that. So I've been kind of testing a few things, and then trying to do a few repairs. I think my helmet, latest stuff are helmets. So the black GoPro is in here. Just testing one trip, two trips, and things. Having a GoPro, just from the start, getting footage, and then I would actually take off this GoPro. I use it as a hand camera if I ever, or have a spare hand camera is fine. That's how I'm gonna pretty much do most of my exploring trips. And even these batteries and things, I've got pretty much 3 spare batteries, so I might have to look for a docking station. There's also power banks, but it's not going to work with these GoPros and things. So I've got hand cameras, and for the price of one smartphone and things, but they're not really working that great without a laptop and stuff. So it does, have a few gimmicks to be aware of. And then I'm gluing this flashlight also. Sometimes you never know, it might be a shadowy place, not really planning on a lot of random stuff, but just working on a few items. So the last piece I need to kind of get this battery. I don't have to, but I'm gonna glue a little bit of Velcro on the battery, just like with the other flashlights in the beginning of this video. And then I've got kind of spare umbrellas. Especially, I've been picking up a lot of small mini. Here's one, and kind of here's another one, number 2. So these little small foldable umbrellas are really, especially, comes really in handy, I think. It's just really rugged stuff. sometimes in the rain, and having a raincoat and working on a few items, especially weatherproofing and staying dry and things. So I kind of finished up this helmet, and but it just doesn't have a real light. I need to kind of clean up also, but it's a spare helmet. It's pretty much, it feels good that it's finally finished. And I think I made a little bit of footage on this helmet, and then now I think it's a really good one. Look at these front holes, really good for a GoPro and stuff. So I really kind of enjoy helmet cams and stuff, but I also have to deal with a lot of weatherproofing. So here's, some socks that I put silicone over it. So those are kind of finished up. I also started gluing these heels with shoe glue, and then I put 5-minute epoxy over 2 pairs. And right here is the other pair. So these have 5-minute epoxies over it after some shoe glue. Maybe it's going to be harder to break down and stuff. So I put it a little bit on the heels and all that stuff, just in case, and also just to get this stuff finished up. So just doing a quick review. I also have another video of actually working on these. I'm going to probably use wood glue, or I don't want to just use pure maybe 5-minute epoxy is the real way to repair these, but the stuff that I did yesterday is starting to dry up just around the border parts, and then just add some 5-minute epoxy, and hopefully everything is harder. And got another pair of shoes down there, so the socks that I silicone are going to be for those boots. And then I got some more socks and stuff. So there are random or there are like parts and repairs and things. A lot of the stuff that I've been working on in 2025 is just a lot of exploring gear. I think it's kind of like, something that I could basically have access or be ready to do, but the only issue is I've got, in an emergency situation, I got so much stuff that I've got to look out for. So I'm not going to do too much more exploring. A lot of it is just repairing and getting prepped up for exploring, seeing what I could do. And once in a while, I get lucky, and find parts or, things that people throw out and stuff, appliances, keep track of a few of the, uh, you know, items and ideas, and then I upgrade or order parts and stuff. But how it cashes in basically is just to stay busy in time and experience, be on the lookout for certain items and stuff, and then whether it be electronics, I pretty much have this to document a little bit. It's a travel charger and stuff. A lot of people are into adventure and exploring for some reason, just stay basic and just enjoy life and stuff. So this is something I glued the cover. I didn't, so small and stuff, but I might have a few other ones of these and things like that, but not the same one. But I glued the cover basically. So I made a special well, I spent a day or two tracing the things and re-gluing this cover. The only weird thing is this USB-C shouldn't be here. This should be on the device itself. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe, well, maybe it uses like a power bank also. So really interesting. And even the power bank, it's like a USB. So it should be 2 USBs, but this USB-C is just a little off on this. So there's just so much to cover in, which devices and stuff, but I basically, you know. So I got to sort out some of these cables for power adapters. I might even use this box down here specifically for some of the power banks and stuff that are available. So I'm putting most of the power bank type of adapters separate, and then there's USB-C type of adapters that go together, and that's most of, you know. So I've got 4 USB-C power bank type of adapters. These come in handy just in case you know, there's a special device or something, different ports and stuff. So getting all this stuff reorganized and situated, I might be able to put GoPros just as, you know, if I'm swapping the battery, but definitely want to keep a spare battery for this GoPro specifically. I'm gonna have to retest everything with the laptop. Maybe, you know, it didn't boot up all the way and things like that. Probably swap out this camera. This is gonna be, you know, just put to the side just because I use it for exploring. My main exploring camera is this GoPro, so what I'm gonna have to do is have spare batteries and charge it up, and then so how I selected this camera was actually with this laptop. It's a Windows 10, and the thing is, it does kind of detect. Yeah, I tested the pocket camera. It doesn't. The battery is really low, and the yellow GoPro actually works with the Windows 8. So these cameras are kind of shaky with the software and stuff, and that's how a lot of devices and things are. So that's just these cameras, and this camera pops up a menu option and stuff. It could be a webcam, it could be a charge mode, it could be memory. So let's try webcam, and now it's showing up some troubleshoot and things like that. So I'm just going to remove the device for now. Let's see what this does. This practice. Oh, here's the fire. So it does recognize it. So pretty useful now. So you know, latest stuff are helmets. So the black GoPro is in here. You know, just testing one trip, 2 trips, and things. Having a GoPro, you know, just from the start, getting footage, and then I would actually take off this GoPro. I use it as a hand camera if I ever, or have a spare hand camera is fine. That's how I'm gonna pretty much do most of my exploring trips. You know, and even these batteries and things, I've got pretty much 3 spare batteries, so I might have to look for a docking station. There's also power banks, but it's not going to work with these GoPros and things. So I've got hand cameras, and you know, for the price of one smartphone and things, but they're not really working that great without a laptop and stuff. So it does, you know, have a few gimmicks to be aware of, and things, and even this pocket camera and things. Hopefully charges up. I can't really remove the battery on this or anything, but it's got 64 gigabytes compared to a 32 gigabytes, and this could also go up to 128 gigabytes. It's got a nice flash to it. So I can hold down the button and things. Really crisp video. The battery seems to not drain in 10 minutes like the other camera. So things like that, testing these cameras and knowing what I could use it for and stuff. It's got a nice flash. It just doesn't zoom in, and this yellow GoPro doesn't zoom in, but the battery works, and that's one of the first things to, you know, be pretty effective when you're going out. Well, for me, exploring and stuff, just having enough storage space. So I'm just kind of